What it do, man? It's Joni C, man. If you haven't already, man, please share with somebody who you know likes like cars, pretty much, especially like antiques and stuff like that, old cars, stuff you don't see, the cars people forgot about. Uh, just a little update on the car. It did have some plastic under the car. I removed that just because the weather got rough, so I put like plastic under the car, thinking that it'll block out some of the moisture, the dirt, and stuff like that. I took that off this morning. Another thing that I happened to do was take the back seat out. As you've seen recently, I started taking out the front seats to try and get to the carpet because I don't really like carpet. I don't know, just personal preference. But yeah, I took out the back seat and I actually found this sort of the option sheet for the car. So all the options that were added to the car, the trim level, the engine, even the AC, if it had a hood scoop, things like that. I found this, it's like a brown piece of paper, and listed out all of the options that came with the car or for the car. It was under the back seat along with some dimes and lollipop sticks. Yeah. Also, doing some more research on the car, I found out that the car was originally bought in Rhode Island. So, we're coming to Rhode Island to Florida somehow, some way. Then came back to Massachusetts. So, I don't know. I started because we had a rainstorm, so I started cleaning off some of the dirt that got on the car. The next steps for this car is, of course, taking out the carpet, getting under the car to reach the rust in the undercarriage. Also, I don't know if you've noticed from previous videos, but there's like some faded paint, so it's down to the primer. I noticed when I was taking the snow off of the car that if I took chunks of the snow off, that the primer would actually be in the snow or on the snow. So I was taking the snow off, but at the same time I was taking off paint, primer, and stuff like that. So I'm thinking most likely I'm gonna just try and get it clean and spray it with primer, maybe a clear coat, so it'll be like a nice thick layer of protection for the primer. Then again, I was thinking of wrapping it, so I didn't have to do all that primer stuff. But I'd rather just do the primer stuff. Another thing coming up for the car is the dash. I have the dash coming for it. So like, it's not going to be a new dash because those are hard to find. You can't find them. Stop the sun from beating down on it. In that video, I'm just going to take apart the stuff that doesn't need to be there, the stuff that got beaten down by the sun too much and it's just falling apart. I'm going to seal all the cracks, repaint it, and then put the carpet on top of that. And trying just to prevent future stuff. And I mean, from there, things get wild. So stay tuned. But this video is mainly about the things that kind of come with, like owning an antique or owning an older car. So I've thought about getting another car, kind of like selling this one, or so I thought about selling this car to after I fixed it, like to a certain point where I would resell it to get a new car, and then keep kind of flipping cars and stuff like that. This kind of be a great starting point. I thought about that option. I don't know if there are any other car guys out there listening, but you kind of get a lot of car ideas, you know. So there's a lot of ideas kind of going through my mind, and it's just really difficult for me to kind of stay on this one car without like thinking about the next project, stuff like that. I'm thinking about how am I gonna have what do you call maintenance items for the car. Mind you, these cars are like I said before, this is a diamond in the rough. So what I mean by that is these things are hard to find. Now imagine the pieces and parts for this car, all the moving parts I would have to maintenance, all the parts I would have to maintenance. I've thought about stuff like that. How am I gonna find these parts now? It's 2018. This car is like 34. I mean, wow, this car is 2000. Wow, I'm still messing up on 2018 and 19. This car is from 19, bought right off the lot in 1982. It's 2019 now. Now, this car is, I believe, like 30 something, 34, 36, something along those lines. And these cars are getting harder and harder to find. So I thought about maintenance parts. Why would I have this car if I can't maintenance it? You know, it doesn't get easier from here. It doesn't get easier for me. Anybody who owns this type of car. I mean, the previous owner had told me a story about how the this indicator light right here kind of broke, so we had to replace them. And those, because these are made of glass, and you need craftsmen. I need a craftsman to make these parts, and especially with glass. So and that alone would just cost them $100 for the light, just the glass for it. That alone is just $100. I mean, it does comes with a positive because I don't have to kind of clean up the faded glass, I don't have to clean up the faded plastic and stuff like that. But that's not the point. The thing I've been trying to get to is the thing that goes to mind owning it right now. Another thing I can't stand is that I cannot drive this car. Not to the fact that it doesn't run, because it does run. It ran when I parked it here. It's not the fact that it has there's problems with it. It's perfectly fine. It's just that this is a project. It's not done. It's not in my image as of right now. And, it bothers me so much that I can't get into any car right now and just cruise. You know, it pisses me off. I want to drive. I want to put the shifter in the D position. I want to hit the gas and I want to go somewhere, anywhere. You know, dude, I miss driving too much, man. That's another thing that makes me want to go and buy another car. Another thing I need to get off my chest is that I'm not putting an engine back in this thing. I'm not doing it like that. This car is gonna require custom parts. It's gonna require fabricators. It's gonna need engineers, things of that nature, and that ain't cheap. You got engineer money? I ain't think so, man. If you want to help out though, subscribe. But I plan on making this car electric. It's not like the first time this has been done. Technology has been around for centuries, or not centuries. I force it, maybe decades. It's been around for decades. I know that task isn't easy, and I know it doesn't come easy like that. I know it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes years. And just the thought of that alone makes me kind of want to bail on this project. That's probably like the biggest thing I had to get off my chest, because it's what I'm doing is something that takes a lot of willpower. It's not for the faint of heart. The people around you, the mechanics and things like that, they'll tell you that type of stuff is impossible. You can't do it. Things like that. You shouldn't do it. If you've been tuning into the discussion, you'll see that I put keep stock or upgrade. Check out that the discussion box, man. The thing is, the thing about keeping it stock and stuff like that, you wouldn't want, and keeping it original, you wouldn't want to keep the original brake lines. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't want to keep the original brakes on the car. You know, you change that stuff. You have, if you're not if you're not moving on with the times, you're not upgrading with the times. You know, like it's kind of, you're robbing yourself of a nice driving experience. You're robbing yourself. You're robbing your passenger also. So think about that. So yeah. I forgot where I went with that. I just went off on that little tangent. Hold up. So yeah, it's been like a. So you don't want to keep it. I don't want to keep this car original. I really don't. If you have a problem with the way I'm doing it, you should have been on the ball. You should have found this car and you should have bought it, but you didn't. You forgot about these type of cars. It would have been scrapped. You would have let it got scrapped. It was to that point. So miss me with that. So those are some of the things that it's kind of been bothering me about this car. It really does bug me, because I like to drive. I really do. It's definitely it's definitely a passion of mine. But thinking about all that stuff, it kind of makes me want to buy a new car, which is why I said this car makes me kind of want to forget about the project. Thinking about all that, it's kind of weighs you down. It's kind of depressing. That's what's happening with me. But I'm gonna talk about what is keeping me in it. It's keeping me going with this project. This car unexpectedly has a sentimental value. I didn't know at the moment when I bought it. I just know I wanted a Lincoln. I know I wanted suicide doors. And you can't do a suicide door on a Mazda. Not throwing shade RX-8, but if we're talking suicide doors, we talk Lincoln series. And it doesn't look right on another car brand. I think Lincoln did it best, is what I'm trying to say. Look, that's definitely something. That's definitely on my big goals list. Like on the down the line upgrades to the car. That's definitely keeping me in it. I think the door being jammed the way it was sort of like the car gods being like, dude, you should do it. That's definitely one thing that's keeping me in it. Another thing that's keeping me in it is it'd be a shame to have someone else own this car and it not be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful car, man. I've got multiple comments on it, or compliments, and it means a lot. It does. I went off on a tangent again. So the reason why it has sentimental value is my parents actually owned this car when I was younger, but it was actually the Signature series. So this is just the base model. It still counts though. Yeah. Another thing keeping me in it is just having an electric car. It's just sort of the new wave. It's like horse to, what'd you call that? Horse to ice. Ice to propulsion, I would say. That's what I would call it. Or ice to motors, pretty much. That's another thing keeping me in it. Another thing keeping me in it is this car is forgotten about. And I don't know about you, but I want to drive something that breaks next, So when it comes to this car right here, It's totally forgotten about. I have never seen a car like this in my life. Living where I live at, I haven't seen a car like this at all. Maybe one thing that came close was like an '80s, maybe like a '90s Crown Vic that rides around. But that's the only thing that comes close to a car like this. Uh, is when you want to break necks in a car, you have to get something totally. If you're trying to break necks with a car, you have to get something totally new, totally groundbreaking, or it just has a nice body, like a banging body. And there's another way you could go about it, and that's getting something people forgot about, which is a 1982 Lincoln Town Car. For me, for me, so that's definitely something that's keeping me in it. You know, I think the last thing that's keeping me in it is just that moment. You know, when you set your mind to something and you actually complete it, like it's actually done. I need it. I need that moment. But yeah, man, that's what goes through my mind as I go through owning this car and proceeding every step and stuff like that.